Hi guys, it is Dani and welcome to this update video. I trust and hope you're doing really fantastic this weekend. Now your screen is being graced by the different phases of a total lunar eclipse. The reason for that is because the parts of the world will be graced by a beautiful astronomical phenomenon. And this one is going to be happening between the second, late on the second, early on the third, just before sunrise. So this video will be primarily focused on the Caribbean, so if you want to know about the time, when to expect to see the blood moon out there and all that, no worries, I'll definitely have you covered in this video. And of course, we're going to be starting out with regards to weather activities. So let's go on with that first. Let's get that out of the way. So right now, we're definitely having a bit of action towards sections of the Bahamas, even for South Florida, going to Cuba, even parts of Mexico. So we're seeing these different white dots indicating lightning strikes. So there's definitely been some atmospheric instability helping to influence some periods of heavy downpours and thunderstorms, even seeing that for a few spots in Hispaniola. As for places such as the Cayman Islands, Jamaica, and much of the Bahamas and Turks and Caicos, it hasn't been too active. It's been a pretty warm day, also quite breezy, which helps out with the heat. Likewise, towards Central America, not much at all. And then we've got some low-level clouds moving into the Lesser Antilles, possibly bringing some overcast skies, maybe with some periods of some intermittent rainfall here and there. Things are on the quieter side for the ABC Islands, even going down to the Guyana as much as not happening. In terms of the rainfall forecast, though, what is expected? So there could be some additional periods of some downpours within sections of Florida, the Bahamas, Turks and Caicos, Cuba. Could definitely see some showers move across sections of Jamaica as well. Cayman Islands, very minimal chance of rain there. And then as we head towards Central America, just a few scattered showers possible. Things will remain on the quiet side for the ABC Islands. And then towards the Lesser Antilles, again, we've got those low-level clouds coming in, so that's going to be helping out. So that moisture will bring some instances of some downpours. Same story for the vicinity of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and even Hispaniola, especially towards the Dominican Republic. Down to the Guyanas, it's going to be on the drier side, not seeing a whole plethora of color to show that, hey, it's going to be active with some rainfall. So rainfall activity will be quite limited. Now, let's talk more about the eclipse now. We're delving now to the astronomical world, and here we go. So what exactly is a lunar eclipse? We know we've heard about it. Most of us have heard about them, or we've heard the term blood moon. And I'm going to be explaining that in this video. So this diagram is from timeanddate.com. That is my go-to website when it comes on to these various astronomical events. There's just so many amazing features and interactive graphics there that really helps to showcase what to expect. So this is a diagram here, not drawn to scale, and it is depicting the sun, the earth, and the moon, and the type of alignment that happens during a total lunar eclipse. So a lunar eclipse happens when the moon is perfectly aligned with earth and the sun, and thus it passes into Earth's shadow. So Earth's shadow is casted on the moon. We've got the outermost shadow, which is fainter, called the penumbra, and then we've got the darker shadow, which is known as the umbra. And it's that umbral shadow that when the moon passes into it, we really experience the full eclipse. Now, the moon orbit isn't perfect. It is tilted. So because of that, we don't get eclipses every month, because otherwise we would have. So there are times, though, a few times a year, when all of these astronomical bodies are perfectly aligned, which is what results in that, total eclipses, whether lunar or solar eclipses. So as for the lunar eclipse, so the moon passes into Earth's umbral shadow, and it's the side of Earth experiencing nighttime that experiences a lunar eclipse as well, by the way. So when that happens, we've got the sunlight pretty much being blocked from illuminating moon's surface directly. However, some of that sunlight actually passes into Earth's atmosphere, and we've got the different colors which are contained within sunlight, which would be like blue, green, and violet, being filtered out because they have shorter wavelengths. However, colors such as orange and red especially has the longest wavelength. So because red has the longest wavelength, that is actually pretty much reaching the moon. And because of that, the moon has that rusty blood red color, which is the reason why total lunar eclipses are otherwise called blood moons. Now, let's talk about the timing of this eclipse. As I said, this video is primarily going to be focused on the Caribbean, so let's go. We've got this interactive graphic here, and I'm going to be starting out from our eastern islands. Now, for much of the eastern Caribbean, only a small portion of the eclipse is going to be visible. For example, Barbados, we've got Bridgetown, the capital there, so the eclipse is going to be starting at just around 4:44 Atlantic Standard Time there. So that's local time for Barbados, very early in the morning, and then the partial eclipse will begin at 5:50 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time, being the maximum for Barbados at 6:09. So it's going to be just around sunrise. The moon is going to be leaving the horizon, just as how the sun would rise in the east and sets in the west until we eventually have sunset and then it seems to disappear. It's going to be the same thing for the moon. Similar scenario is going to be taking place. So only a small portion of the eclipse is going to be visible. The moon will appear to slowly go away, and then it will be leaving the horizon. So just a piece of the eclipse. So that's going to be the case for pretty much Barbados, and we can say all of the Lesser Antilles, and even for Puerto Rico. Let me go to Puerto Rico here. We can see that a little bit more of it will be visible, so you'll see like a bigger chunk of the moon seeming to disappear as it slowly leaves the horizon. Eventually moonset happens. So the local maximum in Puerto Rico will be at around 6:40 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. And then we go to Hispaniola, particularly for Port-au-Prince in Haiti. Haiti is going to be seeing almost a total eclipse. Much of the moon will seem to disappear. And because such a huge chunk of it will be gone, some of those red hues will even be visible. So you're going to be looking to the western sky for this eclipse. And the local maximum will be at 5:57 a.m. at Eastern time. So this is Eastern time. So the full eclipse actually begins though at around 6:04 a.m. and then moonset is going to be happening. So the moon will be below the horizon by the time the full eclipse is going to be ending, or that blood moon. Jamaica, my home country, let's talk about it. So even though this says the parish of Maypen, it's going to be the case for all of Jamaica pretty much, just a few minutes difference. So we can expect our maximum just around between 6:20 and 6:30 a.m. So just before full sunrise happens, again, we're looking to the western sky. We're going to be seeing that total eclipse. We will be seeing the blood moon. Likewise for Cuba, and even towards the Bahamas as well, for Nassau, the capital, there is going to be, let me go back here, there we go. So there's going to be a total eclipse visible. The local maximum eclipse will be at around 6:29 a.m. The Cayman Islands, we go to Grand Cayman, local maximum is going to be 6:33, and then moonset is going to be happening at 6:45, and this is in Eastern time, again a local time for these various areas. And as we head further to the west, all of these places will be pretty much experiencing much of the eclipse. So we go to Belize, and much of the eclipse is going to be visible. It's just a partial eclipse when it seems to slowly come back to normal, and then the penumbral eclipse is going to be ending when the moon is below the horizon. So that's pretty much what we've got, guys. It is going to be a beautiful spectacle to see. Again, our last total lunar eclipse until 2029, but we will be experiencing a partial eclipse later this year in August. So we'll be talking about it as time progresses, but I wanted to let you know what is expected, so set your alarms for the times. Again, you can visit timeanddate.com for yourself if you want to enter your local city or your parish, and you can put that in there and see the specific times. But primarily, it's just before sunrise that the best of the eclipse is going to be happening, and especially for the Western Caribbean and towards Central America, and much of the US as well is going to be experiencing the total eclipse, and even Canada. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys in this video. Of course, I'll definitely remind you of this beautiful phenomenon as we're going to be progressing into the new week. So I do hope you found this video to be informative. But if you have any questions, you can feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll get to you when I can. And remember to always be weatherwise.